Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am joined by guest Coach Nick Vagnone today to make predictions on who will win the Steelers quarterback competition. This quarterback competition is between Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and technically Mason Rudolph. Coach Vagnone has had a little experience playing quarterback before, so he's going to be able to give unique analysis on these quarterbacks. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Who will win the Steelers QB competition?
I don't know, man. It's a little early. The NFL guys, they got to go through training camp and they got to go through, their preseason games. And depending on kind of where they are in their process, for picking a quarterback, that could take them all the way until the last, preseason game, or they could know after the first one. Heck, they could know, after the first couple practices and training camp. So I think it's a little early to tell, but we'll see. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, if Kenny Pickett plays really well in the preseason, I think that Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to start him because they're going to start that rookie over a free agent quarterback that they signed. But personally, I think that Mitch Trubisky is going to outperform Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett's going to look okay this preseason, but I think Mitch Trubisky will have a good preseason. That means Mitch Trubisky is going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers come week one. Mitch Trubisky, he's a quarterback I've always kind of liked him more than most people. He took the Bears to 2 playoff appearances in 3 years under a coach that was not really good at all. And Matt Nagy, Trubisky, he's a dual threat quarterback. He can run the ball a bit. He's got a nice arm. Now, accuracy, he's got a lot of issues with his accuracy, but they're hoping that his 1 year in Buffalo as a backup fixed up some of those problems. And I think that Mitch Trubisky, he might be better than what they got out of Ben Roethlisberger out of the last 2 seasons. And if they can get that, then that's going to be pretty solid production for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mitch Trubisky, he's had an up and down career. I think that he's finally going to get it together in a good situation where he's going to have a chance to win the job. And I think he's going to outplay Kenny Pickett. He's more ready for this job than what people are saying about him.
I hear you, man. I think that's some good analysis. Guys are good ball players, you got to be a real good ball player to make it to the league. Both these guys had they had successful positions where, different play caller every year. They get traded or they get hurt. There's so many factors that play into it, how somebody, production and projection as a player is kind of altered. There's a lot of things that happen. So it'll be interesting. I'm certainly excited to watch that defense run around a little bit.
That's right, because the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they got an elite defense led by TJ Watt. They got a lot of weapons on there. They're an elite defense. Everybody knows that. Then you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the running game as well. Najee Harris, he's one of the better running backs in the NFL. One of the things that we used to say about Mr. Trubisky is he needed a better running game around him in Chicago. Now that he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers, now he's got Najee Harris. So if you can give him a good running game alongside Najee Harris, Mitch Trubisky might be able to actually do some things and actually look like a somewhat competent quarterback. Look, nobody's saying that Mitch Trubisky is going to be a future top 10 quarterback or that he's necessarily even going to be a top half quarterback. But if he can make some throws on third down that can keep the Steelers offense moving, he's going to win that quarterback job. Look, Mr. Trubisky is going to have to fall off a cliff. He's going to have to play terrible this preseason in order for Kenny Pickett to be the Steelers' week 1 start. To me, there is no question that Mr. Trubisky is going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. I feel like Kenny Pickett has to essentially have a perfect preseason in order to really even have a true shot at getting this starting job for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so I know you're saying that you're not really sure who's going to win that quarterback job, but when do you think that Kenny Pickett will be inserted into the starting lineup?
I don't know. I think the coaches will do a great job of, evaluating what his progression is since he got there and how much he's been able to, handle mentally and how, how's the playbook coming on to him? What's the culture fit like? What's he like in the locker room? What chemistry has he made with the guys on offense? There's so many factors, like I was saying, and then coming as a rookie from college, right? Things are done differently in the league. It's, another step up. It's a little faster, right? Everybody else around you is a little faster. Generally, they're a little bigger, and so it's just a whole bunch of things that a young guy has to handle. It might, be a couple years. It might be in 1 year. It might be later this year. Who's to say, Trubisky goes out and starts and struggles halfway through the year, and they decide to put Kenny Pickett in. So I think he's a good young quarterback. I think Coach Tomlin does a great job of bringing guys in on the coaching staff to help grow those offensive weapons. I mean, that's what they've done with pretty much everybody that they've gone out and drafted, right? Steelers, have drafted fairly well last 6, 7, 8 years, offensively. So we'll see, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this Pittsburgh Steelers teams. I know that a lot of people, they seem to be low on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm not one that's necessarily low. If somebody told me that the Pittsburgh Steelers could go 9-8, maybe even sneak in a wild card spot, I would not even be surprised one bit, because we know that the Steelers, they have one thing that they have consistently, which is great defense. You need great defense in order to play good football in December, especially in the AFC North division that they play in. And yeah, I know that they're going to be entering with the worst quarterback out of the 4 teams in that division, outside of possibly the Browns, depending on what's going to happen with the Deshaun Watson kind of situation. But to answer my own question, but when do I think Kenny Pickett's going to get inserted in? I'm still not really sure where he's going to be inserted in, but I will say this, though. Kenny Pickett will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers by the end of the year. I think that if Mitch Trubisky dips below 500 midway through the year, I think they're going to give the job to Kenny Pickett. But we know that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're a traditional organization. They're not just going to hand the reins over to a rookie if he hasn't earned it. I mean, look, Mitch Trubisky, he's not a terrible quarterback. That means the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to roll with him, and they're going to roll with him until he starts losing games.
Well, all I was going to say was it's been a lot of the same people in that organization for a long time, and you think back about when they drafted Ben Roethlisberger in the first round. He wasn't the starting quarterback going into the season, right? I mean, he went undefeated until the AFC Championship, or I think he lost one regular season game his rookie year, after having to come in and play quarterback after Tommy Maddox got hurt. So, it's not like exactly what you're saying. It's a traditional organization, man. They're going to do things the right way. And they just, the last time they had a situation where they drafted a first-round quarterback, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, that's right. And what I was trying to say is they're not going to give the reins to a rookie unless if he earns it. I mean, look, Tommy Maddox, that was the Steelers quarterback before Big Ben. He got hurt, and that's how Big Ben came in. It's going to take Mitch Trubisky to get injured or him to play poorly for Kenny Pickett to get playing time on the Steelers team. That's what I was trying to say. All right, so let me wrap this up and ask you this. How do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do? Let's predict their record.
They're going to be week to week like everybody else playing football this fall. I think obviously a hell of a ball coach and probably, in the top 3 head coaches in the NFL. I mean, he's never had a losing season, so I don't see that trend necessarily, going anywhere. I'd probably guess them right around 500, I guess. I mean, that division is a hard division. They've obviously, got to play 6 games against what was all Heisman winning quarterbacks, now with Baker gone, Deshaun in there. I mean, it's doing the same thing. It'll be tough, man. But they got, like we were saying, they got elite defense. They play fast. They get turnovers, and that. So who knows?
And I'm kind of with you on there as well, Coach. I do think that the losing season is going to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the AFC is just stacked with talent, especially at the quarterback position. In Pittsburgh, they don't have a great quarterback, but I do think they'll be able to get at least 8 wins. So I'm going to say 8-9 for Pittsburgh. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, I'm going to go 10-7 in playoffs, because if they think that Mitch Trubisky is an upgrade over Big Ben from the last 2 seasons, you would have to think the Steelers would get a little bit better. But yeah, I'm going to go with 8-9 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just playing a tough division, tough conference. They don't have superstar quarterback play in that division. And I just want to make one final declaration on Kenny Pickett. I got him starting week 10 against New Orleans Saints, especially when he's going to have his first 2 games at home. That's when I think they're going to put him in, especially when Mitch Trubisky is going to be struggling around midway through the year. So that's what I kind of see happening. All right, well, Coach Vagnone, appreciate you coming on the show. Really appreciate you coming on here to give analysis about the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback position between Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and technically Mason Rudolph, although nobody's got him winning that job. All right, he's got some social media, so make sure you follow him on Instagram at nick.vagnone. He's also got a Twitter account where he's way more active on there. It's at Nick Vagnone KU. So make sure you go ahead and follow him on those social media accounts. I'll leave those links in the description box below. Again, Coach, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, D Money. It's good to hear from you, man. I hope all is well.
Yeah, you too, man. All right, see you, bro. Yup, bye. That was Coach Vagnone that you guys just heard. I'm sorry that the Wi-Fi may not have necessarily been the greatest quality for Coach Nick Vagnone, but he was able to say that Mitch Trubisky is probably going to win the job over Kenny Pickett, but he's not entirely sure what's going to happen. I'm more confident that Mitch Trubisky is going to win the starting job over Kenny Pickett. I believe that Kenny Pickett's going to come in around week 10. That's what I got happening. So Coach Vagnone is also in agreement with me. He's got Kenny Pickett coming in mid-season, and Vagnone's got the Steelers hanging around with a 500 record. I'm going to agree with that as well. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be an 8-9 team that will barely miss out on the playoffs, but they'll be in it throughout most of the season. So that is why Mitch Trubisky will win the Steelers quarterback competition over Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.